All right, I flipped the engine sideways a little bit so that I can get down to where the exhaust headers attach, and I think we can do that next. The plan is going to be to put all of the exhaust parts on it, then put it on a table, and then attach the transmission to it, and then lower the car onto the completed engine and transmission at the same time and mount it to the car that way. I just bought new gaskets today to go in here, and now I'm just realizing that this was never disassembled, so I'm just going to not need them because I sure as heck don't want to take these bolts off and have them all snap on me. I will need these header gaskets though, and I just bought some brand new header bolts right here that we're going to use. These, and the little indent I think should fit somewhere. You got this. I think it's gonna go just like that. 6 of these new header bolts for each side that are 13 millimeter. All right, let's try this from here and see how it goes. All right, this would be helpful for 2 people if you already have the cat attached. Let me try this. Got 1 bolt started over here. Get a second bolt, make sure it's going through the gasket. Seems right so far. I'll hold some weight off of it while I thread it in as far as I can by hand. Before I get it too tight, I want to make sure they all can start threading by hand. Right. Okay, back up. Recommendation before doing this, make sure that your header bolts thread all the way into these, because I got to the very last one and it is not going in easily, and even without that here, it only threads in a couple threads and then stops. So I'm gonna have to get a threading tool and clean that out some first. All right, just like that, with a little M8 by 1.25 thread repair, I can get this bolt all the way in there now. So I will remove it and let's try this again. All right, that took way too long. Finally got it up there. So this is what it looks like, this little lawnmower blade that I called it. And the other one is what this tip rests on, and there's another clamp that holds it to that, so it fits there nicely. Holds itself in place really easily to do this, and these all get torqued down to 23 Newton meters. And this big bracket thingy, I think, is what holds the muffler on. I think the muffler gets attached here and here, and it looks like this gets bolted down there and down here. So I don't know if you're supposed to put this on before you put the header on. Maybe, might be easier that way. And up here, I think that's what this bracket up here is for. It looks like 2 of these holes are what line up for this. So it looks like I'm gonna have to remove this wire and this wire so that this can go behind them and find some bolts. All right, so it requires 4 M8x30s. These are these guys here. 2 for down here and 2 for the top. All right, so the diagram I have shows all 4 of these to be M8x30s, but the M8x30s bottom out before it tightens this bracket. And I had 4 M8x30s and 4 M8x25s in my parts that I had left over. So I put the M8x25s down here, the M8x30s up top. Now I have enough bolts for everything. Again, 23 Newton meters on all these. All right, so we got it looking like this now. I just put this clamp on. It's a 13 millimeter. So just gonna tighten him down. All right, the muffler is gonna come over here and sit on this, like so. And like this metal wire bushing thing, very interesting. And then there's a long bolt that goes through these to hold them on. This bolt comes through the top, all lined up. And it's got a 13 millimeter nut head and a bolt here. And then I just got to find the bolt for the front. Okay, so that is half of the exhaust on this thing. So now I'm going to flip it over and do the other side, except this next time I'm going to put this bracket on first, and then I'm going to put this on, then the muffler. And when I put the muffler on, there's a coupler here. It's going to go to the end of the other cat. And it's a like a slip knot thingy. Here, I got a new one. It's one of these guys. So I'm gonna try to put that in place. All right, flipping it over for the other side. The funny thing is it no longer clears with the muffler on there. So we can only get it most of the way rotated. Oh, and since I almost forgot, let me remind you, make sure you reconnect your electrical connectors. You had to disconnect to get that brace in. Interesting, so here's the bracket for the bank one side, and it is shaped differently. And it uses the far 2 outside holes, so that makes sense why this middle bracket has 3 holes, since they're interchangeable. One of the brackets uses the middle one, this one does not. So I don't know if I just got lucky when I chose one for this side or if it matters. I guess I'll find out. All right, let me try to show you this one. So this one I had to tuck the nose in between there and then work this in sideways, and it is in there now. It's not attached to anything, it's just resting on top of this, but you can see where these two are gonna mate up. So I need to grab my other bracket like that, put it on the tip of this before I bring them together so that I can mate it. So I'm just gonna slip it on here. It comes all the way up to the end. Like you can see on this one, this is the end of the pipe that you can see. So you have it all the way on there, and then you'll slide it up and connect them. All right, I've been struggling with this thing for a little while, and I think I realized that this bolt from this clamp is interfering. So I think I need to loosen it and rotate this clamp a little bit so that it doesn't touch that. All right, got this side on, this lined up nicely, got this clamp on, tightened up. This one down here is tightened, so our exhaust is looking good.